Greetings Estonians and welcome. In today's video we're going to be playing a little Borderlands 2 and checking out the Necromancer. The class was recently made available to Borderlands 2 pre-orders on the 9th of October and is available in the Steam store for £7.99. The Necromancer is a summoner class much like the Commando and summons a robot who essentially does the job for you. You might decide to go looting some stuff but you can't be bothered fighting all the enemies in front of you. Just push F. Summons your little Necromancer buddy, Deathtrap his name is. He goes after, he destroys everything, he rapes them, he engages in robot sodomy, or whatever analogy you like to create. And when you turn around, everything's dead, and then you can just carry on looting bodies, and then Deathtrap just looks around pleasantly, and you just give him a little pat on the head. Quite a few people on the internet have been saying she's very easy to play, and I would actually be inclined to agree with them. Her three trees are Best Friends Forever, our sort of defensive tree, Little Big Trouble, which relies on and focuses on elemental weaponry, and Ordered Chaos, which is it's a very awkward tree to describe. It's sort of like a trade-off between damage and accuracy. I'll be going to that in just a second, but I'll be explaining the trees to you now. Oh yeah, just a quick reminder, your robot is mainly melee, however he does have a bit of an electric range attack, and specking in any one of the trees gives you a special ability. Say if you spec in the Best Friends Forever tree, Deathtrap gets a new ability where he restores the shield of one ally. If you look spec in the Little Big Trouble tree, he can get a 1-2 boom where Deathtrap shoots out an orb of energy at an enemy, and if you shoot the orb, it explodes, dealing massive shock damage. And then in the third tree we have a Robot Rampage where Deathtrap's melee attacks goes really strong. Now just going to explain a few of the perks in the trees for you. In Best Friends Forever you get Close Enough where you miss bullets have a chance to ricochet towards a nearby enemy. Kind of easy, especially if you don't feel like shooting anything at all. This has a 50% chance to ricochet when fully spec'd, and the bullet just deals 50% extra less damage. And also your health regenerates when your magazine is full. The bottom of that tree is Sharing is Caring, where Deathtrap grants a shield to you. In the Big Trouble tree, Little Big Trouble tree, the first abilities are like a million, I can't really pronounce that, but you get resistance to shock damage and also increases your shield capacity. And then you get more pet, which increases your chances of applying burn, electrocute, corrode and slag status effects. With the final ability in that tree is Make It Sparkle, where if you shoot Deathtrap with an elemental weapon, it charges it with that element. So you can just shoot him with a little fire damage, make sure he just burns through everything that doesn't have a shield. If it's got a shield, stab him with electric, he does the job, you can even burn him out of range. I guess it's a buff debuff tree. No, I'd say that's a pretty debuffy tree towards the enemies. It's kind of interesting. I've enjoyed playing with it myself, but haven't really interested me, because you see it's the third tree that rather interested me, which is a little bit different than the rest of them. You see if you spec in this tree, you get a stacking buff called Anarchy, where if you kill an enemy or you empty your magazine, you get a stack of Anarchy, and essentially the more stacks you have, the more gun damage you do, but your accuracy is decreased. Now this can actually stack up to 150 and has a percentage of 1.75% gun damage per stack, but you lose 1.75% accuracy, so that's an extra 17.5% damage for 10 stacks. The numbers get quite big. The only problem is you have to get closer to kill things because your accuracy is so bloody shit. Now you also get other perks such as Smaller, Lighter, Faster, which increases your reload speed but decreases your magazine size. And I think that's actually a bad thing because you can keep shooting things, you can keep increasing your Anarchy stacks. You also have Pre-Shunk, Cyberpunk. I'm sorry, I'm going to be talking about this tree a little more because it's the one I'll be playing with the most, which increases the amount of Anarchy stacks you have, which you can have up to a maximum of 250 extra Anarchy stacks. So altogether that's 400 extra Anarchy stacks. Of course, Anarchy gets removed if you reload, or if you spec in Discord, where if you prematurely reload before your empty magazine, where your magazine runs out, it grants you accuracy, fire rate, as well as health bonus. And of course you can lose Anarchy while it's activated, but you can also turn it off by reloading again. So it's a very finished tree. I'm not too sure. You can trade off between damage and reload, but then you can swap between reloading and between fire rate and health regeneration. You also have the likes of of Rational Anarchist, where if you get 0 stacks of Anarchy, you get 25 extra stacks on your first kill or reload. It's very interesting. I do enjoy this tree. The final one in this tree is called Rift Claws, where it's a melee override skill, where if you have a stack of Anarchy, you melee 2-digit claws, and you can swipe out twice at an enemy, dealing damage based on the number of Anarchy stacks you currently have, and restoring health. Essentially, you get to each of things while meleeing them twice in a row. It's a pretty fun tree, so make sure you have a gun with a sword. So what can I say about the class? Can I really suggest playing as her? Well, yes and no. Like I was saying, the damage trade-off in the Order Chaos tree can be big, but then you got to worry about fire rate. Well, actually you got to worry about accuracy, which means you have to get so close to the enemy, chances are you're going to get ripped to shreds, and you die very quickly. The Little Big Trouble tree, the elemental tree, kind of fun, but in the end you got to find elemental weapons or buy them, and they're semi-rare in the game. They do good things, such as let's see if I can find a good one here to describe to you, which such as Wise Don't Talk, which increases the shock and electrocute damage you inflict. And then you have Interspersed Outburst, where not shooting an enemy for a short time grants you a stack of this Interspersed Outburst, where the next time you shoot an enemy, all stacks of it are consumed and you deal bonus slag damage. So it's kind of good buffy debuffy tree, but at the same time you're going to just shoot anything with normal guns anyway, so it's not really worth investing into. And I say that the best Finish Forever tree is more or less just well, if you feel like you're going to be dying a lot, then just spec in this tree. You increase your maximum health for you and your Death Trap. You get Explosive Clap, where he causes an explosion in front of him, dealing explosive damage to all nearby enemies. You have a 20% cooldown, which increases the cooldown rate of your action skill. So yeah, it's essentially survival, elemental damage, weird, freaky trade-off damage where you can buff and debuff yourself. So yes, I would say a buff, debuff, and then buff and debuff. That's the best way to describe the trees. Now, is she worth the money? Well, actually, is she worth £7.99? I wouldn't say so, because that's actually a quarter of the price of the game. You spent £30 buying it, £29.99. This costs £7.99. That's actually over a quarter of the price of the game for one single character. I wouldn't say that's worth it. Maybe if she was worth £4.99, then I could actually suggest buying her. I mean, come on, £4.99 is pretty much like the... Well, it's what I think would be the adequate price for buying a new character or a new class. If more classes were released in the future, I would expect them to be priced around this area. The class itself isn't directly hands-on yourself. It's a bit of a lazy class as well. If you want to breeze through the game, then I'm actually just playing as a... If you don't really have time to coordinate things or stack your weapons, just summon your robot all the time, whenever it's off cooldown, shoot things while it's busy doing its thing, and you're going to be sorted out. And that's all the time I have. I've been Systematic, and a big thank you all for watching. Don't forget to pay your taxes and subscribe to Join Systonia today, and I will see you soon.